First of all, I'm very grateful and thankful for invitation for this event because it's very important to spread our knowledges and to get new experience. I am QPPV of GCK Pharmac, and for 10 my experience, what I will see how get development pharmacovigilance how I spread my presentation on screen. First of all, I'm very, what I said, I'm very grateful for invitation in this event. I'm QPPV of GCK Pharmac and head of pharmacovigilance department. For this time, Ukrainian legislation pharmacovigilance get very high development, and now we get a vector and tendency to harmonization with European legislation in pharmacovigilance. And as you see, this pharmacovigilance legislation in Ukraine, it's several orders, and main order is pharmacovigilance procedure approved by order of the Ministry of Health of Ukraine of 27th 206. It's number 89 and 198, and we now have still good pharmacovigilance practice like in Europe. It's a module system, and all models now expressed in our legislation too. Grounds of adaptation of the legislation Ukraine on pharmacovigilance, we have law of Ukraine, which says that national program of adaptation of legislation of Ukraine to be legislation in the European Union. Pharmacovigilance system in Ukraine, as everywhere, covering as medical doctors, hospitals, and pharmacies. It's very important because main task of pharmacovigilance system and first task is safety patients, and every members of pharmacovigilance system must take care of safety of patients. Distributors, it's the main source of information of safety and efficacy, and what we have as marketing authorization holders is every distributor of every market, including Ukraine market. Safety data exchange agreement is one of our main source of safety information too. Still, regulatory authority playing main role of pharmacovigilance system in Ukraine is its state expert center, which conduct and control pharmacovigilance on country level, and take care regulatory questions, educational questions. In every region in Ukraine, we have local department and state expert center control safety and efficacy of drugs, and still conduct education for medical doctors. What I see is that medical education in pharmacovigilance field for medical doctors is very important, and we're planning to have a special program for medical doctors exactly in pharmacovigilance question. And marketing authorization holders is one of main players of pharmacovigilance system. Two tasks important: it's inspections readiness and providing safety efficacy drugs for every patient in every market which we have. Still, pharmacovigilance now may change its accent, as mean that now it's more proactive tendency. Before it was like everywhere, just collecting information from all sources. Now make accent on minimization of risk. What we see now is that pharmacovigilance is going more deeply than before. We said, like in clinical trials, it was first source of information safety. Now, what we see is that safety and efficacy of drugs, starting from choosing of prototype of molecules because of even configuration, structure, and consistency of substance can be reason of different efficacy, different drugs. And still it's safety, assessment safety on non-clinical studies. What we see now that in pandemic, that new drugs and new combination can be reason of new safety information. And what I want to tell that everybody from players of pharmacovigilance now should collect all information, and we will have long period for analyze this information in future. Still, medical doctors now it's our various who meet problems in hospitals, and we were thankful for them for it. What I said before, that now moving accents in pharmacovigilance from routine pharmacovigilance to proactive pharmacovigilance. It means the first role is risk management now, signal detection, generation, periodic safety, updated reports is very important, and routine analysis of adverse events. Periodic safety update reports is very important because now, in first place, after risk management, signal detection is correct detection benefit ratio between benefit ratio of using medical drugs. It's now what we'll do. And the second, what we see is that making a focus pharmacovigilance system focus on system quality, and we have, like in Europe, a quality module. It's a system quality system of pharmacovigilance system module 1. It's and inspection what said previous lecture. It's very important preparation for audits, inspection, elements of quality system. In Ukrainian legislation now implemented all in principles of good pharmacovigilance practice. It's ensuring that requirements of patients, healthcare professionals, societies full regarding the safety of medicine are met, providing effective guidance for implementation of the quality system, staff motivation, involvement of all employees is very important of organizing enterprise in the process and maintaining pharmacovigilance system at the level of their responsibilities. Involvement of employees of the organization enterprise in the constant process on improving the quality of pharmacovigilance system, and all another principles still implemented in our good pharmacovigilance practice and harmonized in Ukraine. What we see now is that together with moving extent to proactive pharmacovigilance, we have very strict correlation of GXP. It means GVP now we cannot look just on separate requirements for pharmacovigilance system. It's all connected. For example, GMP is identification of drug quality problems. GCP, as we said before, it's a plan and assessment control of the level of safety of studied drugs. We conducted additional research. Even know that exactly developer safety update report is starting first reference safety information in future. It's very important to know and understand for our marketing authorization holder too. Still, GMP, it's still ensuring monitoring and control of effectiveness and safety of drugs for medical use. And GDP, it's very important right now for vaccines. We see that temperature for logistic, for example, for Pfizer vaccines is -17. It's why ensuring the company's protection against counterfeit, substance, counterfeit pharmaceuticals too important, and logistic requirement we still check too. It means the GVP now starting playing a bigger role in Ukrainian pharmacovigilance too, together with different DXP now implemented DXP more strictly. We have, as I see, pharmacovigilance laws, and main it's number 898, and the main requirement of this law is order, not law order. The marketing authorization holder must establish a system for monitoring the safety of medicinal product in their medical use, ensuring proper functioning and ensuring that, if necessary, appropriate measures are taken. All elements of pharmacovigilance system in Ukraine legislation are implemented now. Main requirements who play major role in pharmacovigilance system is exactly qualified person pharmacovigilance, and we have very high requirement for qualified person pharmacovigilance. It's medical and pharmaceutical education at least, and clinical experience should be still, and education, pharmacovigilance education before getting this role in company. It means that it's a big challenge now for all qualified persons in Ukraine, and not just in Ukraine, for all market. It's knowledge, experience, and desire to get development, not just in pharmacovigilance field, but what I said before, it's getting knowledge in GXP easy. All elements is present in the staff of qualified person responsible for pharmacovigilance. Existence of structure, system, organization, PV system is updated and support. What we see is now we get a new role like pharmacovigilance system, pharmacovigilance scientists in R&D, because a major risk can go from even this stage. In pharmacovigilance, scientists in R&D should get this knowledge too, and all divided on main direction is quality system of pharmacovigilance, its assessment, risk, and signals, and pharmacovigilance clinical trials, and development of pharmacovigilance documentation. All process should be documented, and if a marketing stakeholder will not have standard operating procedure, it means that this process is absent. It's if it concerning on just critical process, it can be critical issue and audit and expansion. For community system master file, we have this requirement to recording module 2 of good pharmacovigilance practice, creating and ensuring the functioning of relevant databases. It means that we implemented now this requirement on our legislation too, and on level of regulatory authority, it's IS with the database which will be collect all information for all sources, including patient and medical doctors. It's automatic now. Collection in Ukraine will be not just like before it was COMS forms. Creating insurance, the functioning of relevant database, involvement if necessary, the implementation of pharmacovigilance of other person organization when concluding contractual agreements, provided training for the company staff to perform action related to PV, included in general question and target question, because, for example, quality has the question concerning quality. If we shall combine this knowledge to creating quality measure system for pharmacovigilance system, maintenance of documentation pharmacovigilance, including storage and achieving, creation of risk management system and signal management, and very important, its benefit risk ratio. Lifecycle marketing pharmacovigilance system is implemented good pharmacovigilance practice and still now implemented in our Ukrainian legislation. What we see is full life cycle and covering all processes in pharmacovigilance system. Now we now on stage of harmonization of Ukrainian legislation, discussion a new variation in this order, because periodic safety update report in Ukraine will harmonize dates of providing this practical safety update will be harmonized with European legislation, but we still have some open question concerning on, because not all drugs in European Union, not all drugs from Ukraine can be registered in European Union, and it will be some new scheduling in our order too. And it will be audit inspection now strict reflected in our legislation too. What we harmonize in our Ukrainian legislation pharmacovigilance on this stage, its terminology, its format of the COMs, to be format, process of export import of information of adverse event, deadlines for submission or notification about drug adverse events, but applicants, medical staff, about serious adverse events 15 days, and about non-serious 90 days. It's for example, in Europeans we have requirement. What are different from European legislation right now? It means that all medical doctors, patients, and pharmacists must report in Europe, in Ukraine, just to regulatory authorities, excluding marketing authorization holder. And I think we will harmonize this question too. Safety reports, we now harmonize 20 section frequency of submission, trying what I said for European list at mean. And risk management plan to now harmonize structure and frequency of submission, master file of pharmacovigilance system structure and requirements. And now non-intervention research has been still regulated and requirement now in law in Ukraine. Pharmacovigilance optimized information system PAIS, this was implemented now in Ukraine for improving collection, analysis, and evaluation for report of adverse reaction and lack of efficacy, including all medicinal products, vaccines, tuberculosis, receiving from health care professional to and pharmacies. And this modern pharmacovigilance automated information system format to be, and information downloaded in format XML. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for technical problems in my starting of my presentation.